climb the mountain to find the fountain. Second week in ordinary time, 21st of January, Friday reflection. My dear friends, we find in Jesus' life, the mountain was a very intimate place where he met the Father. Even in history, even in salvation history, God met people. Mountain was a place of encounter. So it's a place of prayer where God spoke, revealed, they saw, experienced. So you found the mount to find the fountain, to climb the mountain. It's a beautiful concept, my dear friends. So in Jesus' life, there are many mountains. Mount Tabor, Mount Olives, and Mount Calvary. My dear friends, so this is a very clear connection in Jesus' life and mountain and Old Testament, because Moses went to Sinai to meet God. Elijah climbed the mountain. So we find this mountain a place where they encountered the Father. And Jesus always wanted to see the Father before making any decision. Because the decisions on the mountain and in the valley are two different things. You make decisions in the mountain, talking to the Father. When you are in connection, mountain is a place where you get the connection. When you are in connection, you are different, my dear friends. So we find the life of David, the way he reacted to Saul. Saul was completely disconnected. He lost the presence of God. And what happened there? He wanted to kill Saul. So on the contrary, when David had a clear chance of killing his enemy, God gave him the clear opportunity in the cave where only Saul was there. He could have easily killed him. But then David's vision was different. Notion was different. Behold, I will give your enemy into your hand, and you shall do to him as it shall seem good to you. And see, then David rose and stealthily cut off corner of Saul's robe. And afterwards David's heart struck him because he had cut off a corner of Saul's robe. He said to these men, "The Lord forbid that I should do this thing to my Lord, the Lord's anointed, to put out my hand against him, seeing he is the Lord's anointed." So David persuaded men with these words and did not permit them to attack Saul. So he's a man in the mountain. He always felt the presence of God in his life. So when you are in his presence, you act differently. You act differently. See, when Jesus was on the top of the mountain, he forgave the enemy. And here the David, he just forgave because he's the anointed one. And Jesus forgave everyone who nailed him. So what a thing. The way you look at things in the mountain is different. And when you decide things, when you make your decisions on the mountain, the decisions are very, very stable, very different. It's a long-term decisions. David could have been emotional and just provoked and killed Saul. But then he never killed Saul. But then when he showed the robe, piece of the robe, and said, "This Lord, King, Father, I could have easily killed you." And Saul's heart was broken. And he changed his heart, isn't it? And he says, My son, you are more righteous than I, for you have repaid me good, whereas I have repaid you evil. And you have declared this day, You have dealt well with me, in that you did not kill me when the Lord put me into your hands. For if a man finds his enemy, will he let him go away safe? So may the Lord reward you with good for what you have done to me this day. Isn't it beautiful? So the Lord in the mountain today is making a decision to choose the 12. My dear friends, it's a discussion with the Father. It's a discussion. In Luke chapter 6 verse 12 it is said, He prayed the whole night and called them to the mountain. Today the gospel begins. Jesus went up to the mountain, and what he did was, got the connection, had the Holy Spirit, and he discerned the 12. The word says, he called to him those whom he desired. So he likes you, he wants you, he desires you, not emotionally. It's not an emotional based relationship, it's something more than, it's a spiritual connection. He discerns you spiritually. He wants you spiritually. Of course, emotions are involved. But then most of our decisions are based on emotions. David never acted with emotions, no. He acted looking at Saul as the anointed person by God, Lord Adonai. So Jesus, after praying, he could have appointed those who please him, like today's politicians, But then that decision was different. It was a prayerful decision. And those whom he desired, he called to him, to the mountain. So it's important, my dear friends, we also get into his shoes, get into this connection, not emotions, something more than an emotion. Emotions are beautiful, but something more than emotion. It has to be spiritual. Marriage, when you are sexually awake, you are spiritually asleep. When you are spiritually awake, you are sexually asleep. And it's different. You discern a person as your partner, not emotionally, sexually, no. You discern him spiritually on the mountain. You desire a person on the mountain, in with the connection. It's important, my dear friends. And they came to him. So we are called to leave the valley and climb the mountain. For what? He appointed 12 so that they might be with him. It's beautiful to stay in the connection. First of all, he wants us to be with him. Then, of course, preach, do good, exercise, everything. But then first is to be with him. Because being with him, you act differently. So imagine in John chapter 13, when everyone was disturbed, when Jesus said someone is going to betray me, they were disturbed and looking at each other, whereas the beloved disciple kept his head in Jesus' chest and he was at rest. And that's different, isn't it? So when you be with him, you act differently. When you be with him, you move differently, you think differently. And being with him will energize you, empower you to do the mission, to exorcise, drive out demons, heal, preach, and everything, my dear friends. So today, it's a beautiful day where he calls you to the mountain. Make your decisions in the mountain with him. More than decisions based not more on emotions, but on spirituality, the voice of God. Life will be really, really heavy and strong when you decide, when you make your decisions on the mountain. Think about it. Have a nice day. May God bless you.